Hello, it's Tammy here, and it's Monday, and here is one of my little glass ponies. Can't see it super, you can't see it super good right now because it doesn't have a ton of light behind it. But anyways, this is some of the, some of the kind of things that I make in my studio. Usually this is fused glass, and that has gold on the edge. And this is some of them, like I do lots of other glass things much bigger than this. But anyways, I'm starting with this little pony. And then I also do paintings like that deer and stuff. And then today what I wanted to share with you about was about visual journaling and how much I love visual journaling. And so I'm going to do a little bit of demo, visual journaling demo here. And I just wanted to share with you one of my book journals because someone had asked me if I would share a little bit more about when I started journaling and what it looked like. Because I showed my very first journal in a little video yesterday, I think in my group, my Wild Spirit Creativity group. But I wanted to be able to share with you so that you could see how simple and basic my very first visual journals were. This was when I first went to India. Maybe this was like 12 years ago or something. Oh yeah, it's got the date on it. No, it's actually, yeah, I wonder if that was, I don't know, 2006. Did I go to India in 2006? Anyway, this was my very first journal. And it's very, very basic, right? I'm just putting in, I'm drawing just tiny little doodles, and I'm putting in receipts and things from places that we were and where we stayed and little plane tickets. It's very simple. And so I really wanted people to see that when I first started journaling, and I'd already been making glass art for almost 10 years or 8 or 10 years, and I still didn't really know all of the things that a person could do with a visual journal. But since then I've learned a lot more, and so I wanted to show you. This is my journal that I made when I was in India last year. And this is the style I love, when it's like all bursting with just all of the things that inspired me. And I love kind of thick, I like that it's thick, and I can really, like, I love this journal, and it takes me totally to that time and place. And so I'm just going to flip through this one and show you that my own visual journaling experiences, how I've used it has totally evolved. So that's why I was a beginner with this kind of stuff too, and I was a beginner as an artist, and I never believed I was creative for most of my adult life. So I understand the pain of not feeling expressed in that way, but kind of wanting it, or maybe really wanting it. So anyway, here's a little bit. This is from my journal from this year. And there's more color, as you can see. But that's, that's a personal thing. Some people's journals are not as colorful, and that's great, doesn't matter. But see, I'm still adding little things like maps and things, receipts for places that we stayed. But I'm doing a little bit more in terms of doodling and coloring and playing around, but still it's playing around for my own pleasure. Like, I'm not trying to I'm not doing this to prove anything to anyone else. So here's a train ride. I mean, look at how I drew the train. It's so simple. It's like how a little, it's like more like a child would draw a train. But it doesn't matter. Like, to me, that takes me to that day on that train. I can't draw a train realistically. I don't even necessarily want to draw a train realistically. But I wanted a memory of my life and that time. And so that's what I drew. And then on one of the train stations, there was a big painting of a peacock. And I just quickly drew that in. Then I filled that in with watercolor paint later. But so here, this is an example of my journal from India. This is, the paper on here is from a kite. They use paper kites. Kites is really popular in Rajasthan. So I picked some of those up off the ground and glued them in. So some of the pages are more mellow, some of them are busier, some of them are pure imagination. So really I want you to see this and see there's a page in here that I'm going to do a demo about because I can show you something in here coming up pretty soon, I think. Here we go. Okay, so there's so many beautiful textiles and everything in India and in Rajasthan, and it's just an intense, like it's an amazing, intense textile. So I had this coat made for me, and I'm going to walk away a little further so you can see the little back things. And I loved it, and I love this fabric, and so this place was going to make this coat for me. So then in my book, like I said, I don't draw, right? I do doodles and things like that. And so I drew an image of this jacket after I had it made, and you know, like this is the jacket. Even if I didn't have this jacket, I would have this page. I would always remember this. So journals can be used for your travels. They can be used to document your life when you're at home. I mean, this is one of my home journals. So I'm May 27th, 2012, and I got a Volkswagen van. Oh, no new van today. Okay, I must have gone looking for one and didn't find one that day. So yoga retreat, Flo's Place, 2012. So I have, and this is how I use my visual journal too. It's not all making art, or it's documenting my life. Here, I was waiting for a float plane, and they had this Tazo tea, so I gathered the tea bag wrappers, and then I did this little drawing, simple little drawing of tea bag. And then there's pages that are notes. I'm taking notes, but if I look back in here, it's like, oh, I remember, yeah, I did that at that time. And so, yeah, I really wanted to share with you. This is why, and look at the difference. Like, this is how the journal, that journal is like that. Then now my journals are like that, because I really have let myself expand beyond the borders and the edges. And that's one of the things that I teach in my visual journaling course, is that in creative sovereignty, it's like this is for everybody. Journaling can be for everybody. You don't need any particular skills or talent. You only need a simple desire to want to express yourself and save some of your memories. I mean, you can have in here where you have pictures, like you can paste your own photographs or something in here. Some of the pages don't even end up getting finished filled out. So, oh, brake fluid. See, like I needed, I needed some things. So yeah, that's what I wanted to show you with the visual journals. And then I thought I would do a little demo, but I'm not going to do that with my very special coat from India. So I'm going to take that off and put on my dirty old studio jacket. Is a little bit cool in here today. And in the first 3 videos that you guys were, and if you signed up for the free 3-part training, you will have seen 3 videos so far of me, how I start in my journal and the journal pages. And I wanted to share with you that this is where that last journal page ended up at. And if you watch those 3 videos, you can still go and watch them. I'll share a link after I'm done here. Then you can see how this got this far. And then yesterday I added more, and then I added this little typed out piece of paper. And then underneath of that, there's a teeny little picture of my mom when she was a little girl. And it just happened to be laying around here. So I stuck it on there. And the writing prompt that I'd given that day was, I feel most alive when I... So then that's what I did. I feel most alive when I allow myself to play. I feel most alive when I plunge into the water. I feel most alive when I am aware of my breath. So there's a journal page. Here's a journal that I'm actively working in. It's got lots of things. There's a creative sovereignty page that I created. And you can see that, and when you go into those 3 videos, you can see how that page, you can see the process of making that page too. So, and right now I have this little journal. It's brand new, pretty much. I got a few things in it, not much. Bunny and a shadow. I was down at the beach the other day, and I was just drawing very simply little oyster catchers. And then I swished this around in the salt water. So this paper's got salt all over it too. And so I just thought I would maybe just show you a little bit about how I would do a little bit more on these pages to kind of keep moving with it. So I'm going to move this forward a little bit over to the table so that I can just go point downward a bit and show you a little bit about this. So yeah, the Creative Sovereignty course is open for enrollment right now, and I'm going to show you, here's this journal that's, I just kind of have started. There's not much happening in it yet. And then there was the page that I had ripped out. So I would like to, I'm not sure if I have my watercolors over here. But in order to keep this simple, because that's what I'm wanting to get across, is that it can be way simpler than we let it be. And we can be way messier than we think we're allowed. And I'm gonna just show you now what I might do here. It's not just what I might do, I am going to. So oyster catchers are black. I'm just gonna squirt this, well actually I'm gonna squirt it right onto him. Right onto the oyster catcher. I called it a him, but it could be a her. Okay, so I think you can see that. This is just some water and just a regular old brush. And I'm just gonna go and start filling in the body with that black. They are black. I'm not opposed to making my animals and birds a different color than they actually are. As you can see with the deer behind me. You can't see that right now, but I'm just filling in these black shapes. I'm not being too particular about it. And I might even, like that's a pretty heavy amount of black, so I'm not even sure if I want that. So if you have a little piece of paper underneath the journal where you're working, it's a small journal, I could have a much smaller piece of paper, but I'm going to just kind of go like that. I don't want as much paint. I could also go like that onto this other journal page. And then that's kind of cool because it's making a mark there that's not planned. And then I think I'm going to do the other side right now too. So got some things on there and on there. And now, because oyster catchers, one of the super cool things about them is they have these long orange beaks. And I don't have orange, and I'm encouraging you to, if you have red and yellow and blue, you can make all the colors. So I'm going to put some red and yellow out here. And this, again, like here now you're already starting something on this journal page that's not planned. And I think that makes the funnest marks and things. So I'm going to go in here and paint up his beaks. These are really simply drawn. And I bet most people could draw those that simply even if you think that you can't draw. Just bring out your child self and let them trying it for you. Invite your inner child self to come in and say, would you draw that bird? Just like you would have. And that's a really fun thing to work with. Like, you know you're going to get something pretty cool. So there's those guys. Now, what do I want to do in the background? It'd be cool to have a little bit of a bluish. So here's some blue. Just smear that around a bit. Anyway, loose, right? This is loose. I don't care if it's a little bit messy. And it's your journal. You can make pages super neat and tight, and you can make pages loose and messy. And it's all allowed. So this is one way. Okay. So you got that page. This is a memory of my life, remember? And I can write a date on there if I want. Now, because it's not part of this journal, but I can add it. I can tape it right there, and it can be added onto this page. It can be a flip out. And now look, I have all this other paint here. So what am I going to do with that now? Because I don't. And I'm just going to scoop that up and smear it onto this next page. It's not even, like, it's turning into kind of a purple red. It's not my favorite color of red. But something, I'll be able to do something with that page later too. I can write on top of that. Like, look at how easy that was to just put a bunch of color on there. And in fact, I think I'm going to squish this. I'll just flatten that onto there. And then there's kind of some neat marks too. So nothing else even has to happen in visual journal. You can just do some writing on here. You could put a ticket stamp or something. If you don't like the color, I'm not so big on rusty reds. Like, I could squirt. I like rusty reds in some places. Like, I could just squirt some yellow on there now. Right? I could take that now and make that even more like the marks. I can still go back over that with, and look at how I set it on the yellow by accident, and now it's got those yellow splotches. I really like it when that happens. So that's what you can do when you're being free in a journal. You can be free in a journal, and you can also go back in and then be tight and refined. You can have it all in a journal. You can have it all in all the art. I'm realizing I can have it like that in my life in general, because I want to be totally free, but then there's times where I want things to be more refined, and that's super duper great. Like, I want the full range, basically. So, and I want to allow myself to have the full range, because that's what we're allowed to have, the full range of tight and loose and refined and raw. So I'm going to look a little closer so you can see me again. And now this, like, I had this page from I I had saved this for years. Years and years and years. Like, I bet if I could find a covered wagon. Like, I love this covered wagon. I love these pictures. And I've saved them for probably 20 years. Anyways, I was finally going through some stuff and I was just like, oh, Tammy, just let it go. But you know, like, why was I saving it? There was something in there for me. So now, and I had it by the wood stove, I was going to burn it, but I'm just going to cut that now. This was not planned. I just found this page by the wood stove today, so I decided to bring it here. And, I mean, wow, like, is that ever perfect on that page? So look, I'm going to just take another piece of paper. Paint works like glue. Acrylic paint basically works like glue. So if that paint's still wet, that's going to hold that down there without me putting any glue. I'm going to take this piece of paper and just rub down on that paper so that it will stay stuck there. Oh, I've got some more of those marks that can't really be planned. I might just put that across the bottom. The oyster catchers. So there's another picture on here. I'm gonna stick it on the other side because it's so beautiful. Covered wagon. So this way, yeah, I had it in a folder or something. I was never looking at it. It was tucked away, but now it will be in the journal. So this paint over here is getting a little drier, so I'm going to just add some white glue to get this onto here. Okay. And I'm going to do that same thing. Now, you can make that way neater if you want, but you don't have to. And you can, like I said, you can go in after and make things more, you can do some writing on here that's really fun. You could do some beautiful calligraphy all around here. But the thing is, you've got this place of looseness that feels energized, and then you can go in and make it more refined. So there's that page. Like, it's incredible how that background that I didn't really like, and then I added more yellow, and I was never planning to put that on there, but that page came into my view today. So these are the things too about art making and about visual journaling that's really cool, is that we just learn to trust our intuition a little bit more. And that's always a good thing. As we learn to trust our intuition more, life becomes, I thought I was going to be able to see me, life becomes more interesting and alive because we're trusting those impulses that are alive all the time and firing inside of us, but they often get buried underneath all of our shoulds and our responsibilities and feelings, like the practical things. So nothing wrong with practical things. I'm a super practical person. However, as I've learned to trust my intuition and my instincts, my art's gotten better. I feel happier. I'm a happier person because I'm not just taking everything so freaking seriously, including myself. I'm not taking myself so seriously. So I can make a mess, play like a child. My partner walks in here and says, that's horrible, which he wouldn't, but let's just say he did. It'd be like, that's okay. But a decade ago or something, that would have just felt devastating to me, and it doesn't have to be like that. So I want to just read you a little something before I close this. This is from a book called The Crossroads of Should and Must, Find and Follow Your Passion. And this is by a woman named L. Luna, and it's a great little book. And so it's about this, she's talking about following the passion or what we want. And so it says, so what So now what? Just get up and work every day? So meaning work as in creative work of some kind. It says yes. And then the other voice, alone? Most likely. For what? Unclear. For whom? Yourself. For how long? No one knows. Why? Because you've got to. But what if I fail? You will. And then what? You get to decide if you keep going. Is this a bad idea? There are no bad ideas. But what if it's horrible? Stop doubting, start doing. Will we have this conversation again tomorrow? If you wish. Where does it all lead? Grab the nearest tool, work, and in time you will know. So that's the thing. It'll always be like that when you're living in your creative life, and it doesn't have to be like making art like just, we have to keep showing up, we have to be willing to make mistakes. A lot of the work is done on our own when we're pouring out our heart and soul into our journal, or there's going to be times there's going to be like, this is crappy, or I'm no good at this, and there'll be other times where it's like, this is brilliant, I love this. It's just going to be all part of the package. But your journal can hold all of that. Your journal can hold all of those feelings, and you can express it all, and they don't have to get covered up later. Like, they can, it's all allowed in your journal. So, in terms of creative sovereignty and maybe coming into the course, what I would invite you to feel into, because like I said, I'm a practical person too. I totally get being practical about all the things. More and more what I'm wanting to pay attention to for myself is my heart saying yes? Is my heart saying yes? And am I listening? Am I listening, or am I overlaying my practical things? Because yeah, there's always practical things to consider, 100%. And then there's also a heart's desire and our heart's longing, and yeah, so feel into that. And I would love to see you come into creative sovereignty. I think the people who have been in it, I have some testimonials I could read. I could read you something from someone who never did, some people were experienced artists and some had never done any creativity. And this woman said she hadn't picked up pencils and crayons and anything like since she was a child. And she said, what a great decision this was. I was transported to a place of happiness, color, finding my inner child, guided by Tammy, creating an art journal. My friends are amazed at the journal I've created. I enjoy each day I create another page using watercolors, acrylics, crayons, Sharpies, and collaging messages. I would never have done this without this creative sovereignty course. I continue each day to create new pages and my art journal is filling up. I recommend this course to anyone who wants to express themselves through art and perhaps, like me, never has. This course has brought such joy and exuberance to my life. Thank you, Tammy. So there. So I did a little demo. I shared a little bit of the things that matter to me. And look at this. I found this stuff like this I'm going to be gluing into my journal. I can cut up these words. I can cut out these letters. I can make it into new words. This is some good material here. So anyways, I'll share the link. And if you want to find out more about it or watch the 3 video trainings, the free trainings, they're available still till the end of the week. And Creative Sovereignty is open for enrollment until Friday night. And there's people coming in already. I'm super excited to be welcoming people coming into the course already, and some pretty cool stuff. And the last time around, we created a beautiful little community of very heart and soul people who really who were very supportive of each other and our individual creative journeys. And it was just a beautiful little community that we created. And so if you're looking for a little bit of creative community too, this could be a really nice tip for you. So maybe I'll see you inside Creative Sovereignty. You know, I just want to show you one more thing while I'm here, because this painting it's been coming and going, and I'm getting it it's all getting a little bit too precious, just like I say happens with my art journal. So I'm going to I'm just going to do this right now, because something has to change here. I don't know what's going to happen going beyond here, but something had to change. I still love the deer, but I don't know if that deer will stay. So this is some of the stuff that we will do in an art journal. I'm going to just like, how if I just go on to the next page? Yes, it's white. Yes, it's a white page, but that's going to add some cool texture and stuff. So anyway, you can see down below the link, and you'll get to see that painting evolve if you sign up for the course too, because it'll be the backdrop behind our live calls. Okay, thank you for watching. I really appreciate anyone who's showed up and who's watching this. Thank you.